Hi everyone. So welcome to this week's Who Would Win. And this week's Who Would Win. Now with the bi-weekly Who Would Wins, if I can, I will put some effort into researching. But with those, and this is might have been my first day off in a week from work, so I was really just laying about enjoying it. But I still want to get my bi-weekly out. So with the bi-weekly ones, I kind of want to just take it easy for Who Wins. I can kind of just easily do right off the top of my head. And with this one was given to me by Chris Colgate. Now, Chris Colgate actually gave me quite a few different suggestions. Some of them are pretty obvious in my mind who wins. Some of them are actually really good. He gave me one Cyclops versus Groot, Ant-Man versus Nightcrawler. Some of these are really good, but some of them admittedly are a little obvious. Who I think is going to win. One I actually wrote down for a different day and time. But looking at all these options, and most of these are really good. I'm like, why don't I just use a lot of these for the bi-weekly? So thank you, Chris Colgate, for those suggestions. And obviously, it's, as you've read at this point, Wolverine versus Ironman, Tony Stark Ironman to be specific. Now, looking at this fight, there's two ways to break down this fight. Is Tony Stark coming in prepared for Wolverine? Because if we're going with that standpoint, then right off the bat, I'm giving it to Tony Stark. I'm giving it to Iron Man because he can just do some sort of electromagnetic shit, magnetize something, and basically make Wolverine stick to the floor or stick to something. Or he can get his hands on in preparation with some Antarctic vibranium, something like that. So with preparation time, Tony Stark's going to be it. But let's assume that these guys, for the sake of this fight, we're going to do a little bit death battle-like, but they know about each other, but they're just pissed off, and Tony Stark hasn't prepared for hasn't prepared to take on Wolverine. So we are going to go with Iron Man with his basic equipment, with the basic suit that he usually uses, which I believe is the Mark. Give me 1 second. I need to remember which one is the suit. Usually, the Iron Man uses the most often. Let's see here. It's not the Extremist. It's not the. Let's see now. Iron Man. Let's see, character. There we go. What's the suit he uses the most often? I know it's one that's interchangeable with other suits. Let's see now. Ability, technology specializes. Yeah. We get that. Oh well. Basically, the large array of Tony's abilities from the suit comes forth in this. What the hell am I looking at right now? Oh, okay, that's an actual. Sorry, I have my YouTube channel up at the moment too, and it showed me a clip Wonder Woman versus 4 Justice League women, and I'm just seeing Vixen bent over. I'm like, what show is this? Because she looks naked. And I realize, oh no, wait, that's her costume. Okay, but anyway, so yeah, Tony Stark's. Now that I've beat around the bush for about 3 minutes, Tony Stark. Obviously, genius level intellect. He's been trained in combat by Captain America to a degree, and he generally enjoys the fighting and kicking the bad guys' butts. His suit is equipped with flares, many little missiles. Obviously, his arc reactor does the it's a concussive blast. It's not like an actual laser. It's kind of like Cyclops' optic blasts a bit. They're concussive. They're not necessarily heat blasts, though they certainly will hurt and have and their energy. He does have lasers equipped into his suit as well, so he can use lasers. He has things like electromagnetic fields. He can do an EMP, I guess is the best way to put it, which admittedly won't do anything against Wolverine, but he's got it. He's got Jarvis in his system that he can analyze an opponent's fight pattern or fighting tactics, analyze the opponent and produce countermeasures. He's got also smoke screen. He's got smoke grenades. He has basically a smoke screen system activated in his suit. He's got a wide array of abilities. Now, things just right off the top of my head, I don't think he has in his basic suit. He does not have anything that magnetizes anything, unless he can figure out a way with the abilities he has to magnetize something. That'd be like using electricity or using electricity, freezing something, but that's a matter of location, and we're just putting this on neutral ground. But yeah, and of course he can fly. He can fly at subsonic speeds or supersonic speeds. He can do a lot of different things. His strength is upwards. He can lift at like 100 tons, something along those lines, in the suit. Some suits are stronger than others. So, I mean, he's Iron Man, but he's still a guy. He's still human. His suit's not invulnerable by any stretch of the means. Um, so, yeah. Wolverine, he's Wolverine. What's there to say? Well, let's briefly go over it. Wolverine, he's Canadian. He's about his height varies depending on the comics. At his tallest, he's usually about 5'7". Shortest, he's 5 even. He's a short guy. We'll just say, for the sake, let's say 5'5". So 5'5", but he's in peak physical human condition. And yes, we're using Wolverine when he still has his powers. Peak human physical condition due to his healing factor. He's like sub-superhuman in terms of his strength. Like, he can lift like half a ton, or like a little over half a ton, which is well beyond a normal human's capabilities. But he's well on the low end of superhuman. But he's somewhat superhuman. But he's got enhanced agility, all that stuff, because all of his abilities are enhanced because, physically speaking, because he heals, and he's in peak, beyond peak human condition because of that. Enhanced senses, smell, sight, hearing, a feral like mindset, and can go into a berserker rage, which once that, he's ignoring all pain and ignoring shit and just will go full hoss on you. But of course, the main things people always know about him is his healing factor, which has varied over the years. But if we're gonna give these guys the best chance against each other, gotta go by his strongest. He can pretty much. I mean, we're using base Wolverine. We're not using like Ultimate Universe Wolverine that can literally survive. I think like being nothing more than a cell and surviving decapitation. But the only really way to kill him is to take his head off, or get rid of his healing factor. But yeah, no, he survived Nitro, who is literally a living atomic bomb, or living atom bomb, and vaporized all of Wolverine's everything except for his adamantium skeleton, which was protecting his brain, which allowed him to heal. He can survive multiple gunshots. He can survive being skewered. He can survive having his arm taken off. Hell, if his arm was theoretically taken off, it would theoretically grow back after a certain amount of time. It might take a while, but because like flesh wounds, like being taken off, all that stuff, that's one thing. If he were to actually lose the bone, his actual arm with the bone and stuff like that, because of if he didn't have his adamantium, I would say his arm would eventually grow back. But because he's got the adamantium, would his arm grow back normal and one claw that'd be a cool type of Wolverine to see. A Wolverine who's actually lost his arm at one point, but he has a new one, but one of them's bone, one of them's adamantium. That'd be really cool. And yeah, they've actually said they have a way now. They're bringing back Bruce Banner's Hulk and Logan Wolverine, like the original Wolverine, because doing like a special series of buddy pairs and stuff like that. So you got the new Hulk and Bruce Banner going to be together. Both Captain Marvels, the original one, and Carol Danvers. Logan next 23 are going to be back there. So apparently they've life found a way. But of course also you got to talk about his adamantium skeleton. Not completely industry. There's only a couple things in the Marvel universe stronger than his adamantium skeleton. But Cat's shield, which is a mix of vibranium and steel. Technically, Uru metal is stronger, but only in certain circumstances. And even then, with secondary adamantium, it's one thing. Because adamantium has grace. Wolverine's is technically a form of true adamantium, but it's beta adamantium, which means it merged with his biology, so it didn't inhibit like bone marrow or anything like that. Because of his healing factor, he was allowed. That's why he survived. But otherwise, he's pretty much, he more or less has the strongest form of adamantium in his body. And adamantium can basically survive anything short of reality warpers, metal manipulators like Magneto, molecular manipulators like Molecule Man. Anyone else right off the top of my head who can do anything with adamantium? Strength be like Thanos level strength, or well, no, even like someone like the Incredible Hulk can't break, and no, we're not talking about the Ultimate Wolverine ripped Wolverine half dented adamantium rip. We're not talking about that. No, it basically takes cosmic or reality warping or molecular manipulation to do anything to adamantium after it's solidified. So it's more or less indestructible. His claws can more or less cut through anything, as long as he puts enough force behind it. So I've rattled on all I need to. How does this fight break down? Who's going to win? Well, again, let's be clear. If there was prep time allowed in this fight, I'm giving it to Iron Man hands down, because he can just be like, yeah, here, catch Wolvie. It's like, what's this, bub? It's like, oh yeah, that's nothing, just a super magnet. What? Yeah, now you're going to be stuck to the ground for about an hour. Because these guys were opposed. They were actually on good terms. Wolverine even used a suit when he went to go fight in Atlantis at one point. But they were opposed against each other in the first Civil War. But Wolverine got taken out by the Sentry, and as we've learned, you don't go with the Sentry. But let's say, here's a perfect way to go about it. Let's say it is Civil War, except this time Iron Man confronted Wolverine, tried to reason with him, and it's like, no, it's like, I can't do that. I can't do that, Stark. It's like, you leave me. It's like, you leave me no choice. It's like, that's my. And it's like, that's my line. Shing. It's like, schnick, schnick. It's like, all right, bub. And then the fight goes off. So, Iron Man's going to maybe blast Wolverine, and Wolverine can be knocked out, too. Let's make that clear. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying that's another way maybe Iron Man can take him out. Wolverine will maybe try to avoid. He's agile enough that he can avoid. It's like, pew, chew, chew, chew. It's like, lock onto him. And it's like, Wolverine will probably be pointing you right in his face, about to cut his suit up. But then he's just like, his chest piece just blasts. He goes flying through the rubble. He just, and it's like, all right. It's like, Logan, we don't have to do this. And it's like, Wolverine then maybe just throws a rock. It's like, boom, blast the rock. And then Wolverine comes, shink, barely misses like the major part of Iron Man's suit, but still scratches. It's like, yeah, we do. So the fight's going to commence, and Iron Man's probably going to be keeping his distance throughout the most of this fight. Unfortunately, keeping his distance means that Wolverine's going to have time to avoid any blast that he has. Wolverine has reflexes to avoid any blast. He has the durability to outlast Iron Man, basically, in a physical fight. And Iron Man knows this. So he knows that he's going to have to get close up. He's going to have to, at the very least, knock Wolverine out, because he can't kill Wolverine. He knows he doesn't have anything right at this moment that can kill Wolverine. So he's going to have to knock him out. The question is, can he knock him out? Well, I don't think any of his arc blasts are, at least not from his hands, and not even really from his chest piece, unless he goes full power and hits him straight in the head, are going to knock him out. I don't think that's the case. And if he gets in close combat with Wolverine, he knows that he's in trouble, because Wolverine's bread and butter is close combat. So Iron Man's probably going to be like, all right, I'm going to have to, maybe he uses his laser as a decoy, just he slices Wolverine. Can't cut through the adamantium, but he still cuts through the flesh, and that hurts like hell. Wolverine maybe slashes, the side of the Iron Man suit to try to get the laser off, breaks laser, even maybe cuts Stark's arm, just barely cuts, so now Stark's bleeding profusely from this arm. Not like bleeding to death, but it's like super, it's like, it's like, no, then at that point, that's the thing, between the two of them, the person who can take a hit a lot better is Wolverine. Because if Tony takes an actual hit that's going to, break an arm or lop a bit of flesh off, he's going to feel that pain a lot worse than Logan is. They're feeling the same amount of pain, but Logan's pain tolerance is through the roof compared to Tony's. So if he gets any hit on, which I think he would, he just maybe backhands Stark and gets that scare. It's like Stark is like, that's when Wolverine just he takes that moment to lunge at him and just starts to rip into his armor. Now that being said, the armor is durable enough they could probably take a couple hits, but Wolverine will tear through that thing with little effort after a few moments. Tony knows this. At that point, Wolverine's probably taken out one or two of his arc reactors on his feet and on his hand. One of his thrusters might be out, so flying's going to be out of the question. His midsection is being torn up, but he's still got his arc reactor on his chest. He blasts Wolverine again. Maybe this time it does hit him in the face. I don't know if that's enough to knock him out, because Wolverine is taking blast to the face. Wolverine survived an atomic blast, for God's sake. If that doesn't technically knock him out, I don't know what does. Basically, it takes a lot of blunt force trauma as the thing to knock Wolverine out, not necessarily energy blasts, as we learned from Planet Hulk when Hulk came back. People like the Juggernaut, Sentry. You gotta basically actually physically hit Wolverine in the head, not like an energy blast to knock him out. So it takes concussive blunt force trauma, not like a energy blast. And really, that's the problem. Is that while I don't even think while Iron Man can hit hard and can lift a decent amount, I don't think he falls in the parameters of someone who can actually hit Logan so hard that he knocks Logan out. And after taking a few hits, it's going to come down to the fact that Tony knows he can't beat Wolverine in a hand-to-hand. Even Thor admits that in one comic that Wolverine would kill him in the long term in a hand-to-hand combat scenario. It's like I don't want to do battle with Wolverine unless I have to. When the God of Thunder says that, you know you're a badass. So the long story short is, I think Tony is going to have to try to make some sort of exit out here. Otherwise, Wolverine will kill him. No, he's not going to kill him. Wolverine's going to avoid killing Tony, because if this Civil War scenario, he doesn't want to actually kill Tony. He's just like, nope, I'm not listening to you either, bub. So yeah, so you chose your side, I chose mine. So if you're asking me who wins especially in a bloody fight to the death with no prep time, if it's a bloody fight to the death, Wolverine's going to just skewer Tony Stark to death. There's the only scenario I could see maybe Tony knocking Wolverine out, because that's it. Tony, without preparation, has no means of killing Wolverine. Would be him either maybe just a full-on boom straight to the head to maybe try to knock him, like to the dome to knock him out, or possibly trying to rip his head off, but that would not be in Tony Stark's style at all. Yeah, that's not that would honestly be something Wolverine would try to try more to rip off Tony's head than anything else. But even then, that's not really within either of their perspective styles. So, yeah, I'm going to have to give this fight to Wolverine because Wolverine's just too durable, and Tony doesn't have really, and again, in his basic armor, in his common armor, in the armor he wears the most often, and all of his tricks and gadgets, he doesn't really have anything that could kill. He doesn't have anything that could kill Wolverine. And besides maybe a short range, a very small missile like that hits him straight in the head, he's got nothing that can knock Wolverine out. I don't think he's even technically strong enough to knock Wolverine out theoretically. Even though he's lifting, let's be clear, there's a very big difference between lifting strength and the strength you have in a punch. While Tony's punches may be strong, and let's be clear, if he had like maybe the Hulkbuster armor, that would be different. Then he could probably knock Wolverine out. But if he had a Hulkbuster armor, Wolverine would have a lot more blind spots to tear up. So tit for tat. So I guess the question is, what's the percentage on this for me? I'm gonna go in all the scenarios that they're fighting. Again, no prep time. Is there a scenario that Iron Man wins? Yes, like I said, there's that wrist rocket scenario where he can maybe hit Wolverine in the head. And with targeting, he could probably do that too. But it's one of those scenarios where you're exhausting all your options. Wolverine's a savage in a fight, so you need to. He's going to cause you to exhaust all your options, and if he grounds you, which I think long term he would eventually have to, because long range Wolverine's very capable of dodging most of his stuff. So, yeah, I would still say it's possible, but I'm going to give it 9 to 10, 90% to 10%, or 9 to 1 in Wolverine's favor, just because of the way the fight would have to break down for a non-prep time Tony to take on Wolverine. And again, let's be clear. Let's be very clear. If you're talking about a fight where Tony Stark gets prep time against Wolverine, then he's going to beat Wolverine every single time. Even if Wolverine had prep time against him. And he's friends with Beast. So Beast's a pretty smart dude. And he's an inventor, he's a biologist, all that. But yeah, even both these guys had prep time, Iron Man's going to come out every time, because Wolverine unfortunately has that little thing called an adamantium skeleton, and that can be a real burden when you're up against geniuses who can arrange electromagnets, and like just magnetism in general is a big FU to Wolverine. Just this sucks. Well, Iron Man can just figure out something to stick into a wall and be like, okay, now you're going to stay right here as we take you to the raft. It's like, screw you, bub. But yeah, I gotta give it to Wolverine, and that's not because I like Wolverine better than Iron Man. I like them both pretty, especially with what Robert Downey Jr. has done with the character in the films. I like them both pretty evenly, but I would say I lean a little bit towards Wolverine, but not enough that I would give him 90% just because I like him. And even then, I like what other ones have I done? Oh yeah, I love Batman far more than I love Superman. But when I did that video, I clearly stated that 9 times out of 10, Superman's gonna kick Batman's ass. I don't bury my head in the sand on these things. But anyway. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that. Thanks for the suggestion, and thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. As always, if you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. If you have ideas for who would win, Star Wars, superheroes, what ifs, magic videos, anything I do on the channel, please put that in the comments below as well. I will take your suggestions. I will put them on a list, and I will get to them at some point. I like to make you guys part of the channel. Makes us feel like a family. Just makes us feel together. So anyway, I will have who would win for this week up on Wednesday. I haven't figured out which one it is yet. Actually, let me look through that right now because it's not this week that I got it. I have my next Bleach who would win. That would be it's not this week. It's next week. I got my next Bleach who would win. So how many of these have I actually written down? Let's see. I got this one. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. Couple of these. 5, 6, 7. Oh yeah, I got a bunch of these written down. Let me see here. Which one do I want to do next? Then I'm gonna actually tell you right now which one I'm gonna do next. I'm gonna do Anthony Dahl. Anthony Dahl, yours is coming up next this week with Martian Manhunter versus the Silver Surfer. That was suggested to me by him a couple months back. I finally get around to it. So Silver Surfer versus Martian Manhunter. Stay tuned for that one on Wednesday. Anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good night.